Well, welcome back to another game of On-Base Baseball. My name is Brian Hafferkamp. I'm the designer and creator of On-Base. And in this game, we are going to be playing using the new On-Base Pocket Edition. So the 1980 season. The game is going to be Philadelphia and Montreal. This is played October 4th, 1980. I looked up Philadelphia and their championship leverage index, their CLI highest rated game is this one, which means this is the most important game of the season for Philadelphia. And so played against Montreal at the end of the season, and we'll see how this one goes. I want to take you all the way through the process of deciding how to not deciding how, but learning how to play using these cards. So if you go and get these cards, this is how you would play. So you're going to take your cards. The little box is the holder. It also has some things to remember in there as far as instructions. You're going to need the cards. I've already sorted these cards, but they'll come kind of all over the place. But you're going to have your batter cards, and you're going to have your pitcher cards. There are going to be a couple of blanks in there. We got Philly, and we got Montreal. So we got our two team cards, and that's really that's all that you need, honestly, to get this one up and going. And we have each team here, so Philadelphia and Montreal. And I'm just going to show you real quickly what we can do with Philadelphia. So let's flip them over. One side has pitchers and one side has batters. So you can see that this follows almost straight along. Del Unser is in, and Keith Moreland in for Bob Boone. So there's a few changes in here, but those players are here. You can see Moreland and Unser. Manny Trio is in here. Larry Boa. Larry Christensen is not in, oh, Christensen is the pitcher, so we'll just have to use the pitcher card for him. So what we want to do is we're just going to batting, defense, speed, and you can use, I'm using the Digi Dugout score sheet here. You can use whatever you want, and so you can do batting, defense, speed here. So that's going to be a 0, minus 20, and 4. So that's all you have to do. And for Bate McBride, it'll be 13, 0, and 6, 53, 12, and 6, 9 for Greg Luzinski, minus 16, and 3. For Dale Unser, we're going to have to come down here. So he's a minus 1. I just do some rounding. So minus 1, 8, and 5. So you just got to pay attention here. Keith Moreland, 3, minus 2, and 3. Manny Trio, 3, 10, and 6. Larry Boa, minus 20, 4, and 6. And then Larry Christensen is going to be the pitcher. We're going to give him a speed of 1, I guess. Give him a speed of 1. We'll give him a defense of 0 because we don't have that on here. If you're playing with the full set, like the roster sheets, or if you're playing with the cards themselves, then you'd be able to have those actual numbers for Larry Christensen. So, you know, he's a pitcher. When we look at the pitching, you can see that Larry Christensen is here. His stamina is 22 and his FIP is 3.35. So we will I don't know if there's a good place to put that on here. So his stamina is a 22, and then 3.35. There's no real good place to put that on there. So now you're done with Philadelphia. For Montreal, it's going to be Jerry White. Who's here? 6 minus 3.5. Rodney Scott, minus 20 minus 4.9. Roland Office, 4 minus 7.4. The Hawk, 26 8 and 7. Gary Carter, 17 22 4. Warren Cromartie, 8 minus 10 4. Larry Parrish, 2 minus 4 3. Chris Spire, minus 6 8 and 3. And Steve Rogers is 339 FIP and 31. So we'll just put that there for him. We're going to give him a 1, also a 0, and he'll also use the pitcher card. So until you need any replacements, you can just put those to the side. What we need for our pitchers first, we have one with the 335, one with 339, so they'll both be using this one. And then we're going to be using all of our batter cards. So I like to just kind of lay them out like this. You might get a little bit of glare there. You're just going to get some glare. So let's see if we can tune that up just a little bit maybe. So you're going to get a little bit of glare in this video, but that's just from, I have a light right there so you can see my hand against the light. So that's just going to be there for a moment while you're watching the video. So if it's bothering you, I don't have a better light than that light source. So. Alright, so basically these are your best hitters, second best hitters, third, fourth, and then the pitcher is going to be the worst hitter. And the way that we play on-base baseball is we roll 2d6 dice. You're going to read the lower number first, so that's a 26. And then you roll a d10 dice. If it's a 10, you'll roll again. There's also, you could add in rare plays or anything on that roll of a 10. I just roll again, and then this is going to give you extra information like where was the ball hit if it was a base hit. It will allow us to figure out what fielder caught the ball, stuff like that. So, but basically you look at your 26. We have an 11 to 66 here. You look at 26, it's a blank. And so if it's a blank off the pitcher card, then you're going to go to the appropriate batter card. And for Pete Rose, his batting is, so this is batting, defense, and speed. So this is the batting column, and so you can see it on there. You can see it on here as well. So the batting column is the one that we're looking at for these cards, and that's going to be 26 is a ground out. Oh, sorry, he's a 0. So 0 falls between -5 and 10. So that would be a ground out, and then that ground ball would go to the first baseman. So 1 through 6, you're going to do. You're going to match the position number of the fielder on a ground ball. 7 and 8 goes to the shortstop, and a 9 goes to the second baseman. So the shortstop gets 3 chances, second baseman gets 2, and everybody else gets 1 on a grounder. And then on a fly ball, you can see in here, I've changed this so when you purchase it now, there'll be that, what I just told you about ground balls will be right here. You can see fly balls 1 to 3 is left field, 4 to 6 center, and 7 to 9 to right field. All right, so let's get this one started. It's going to be Pete Rose, Bate McBride, and Mike Schmidt against Steve Rogers, the hometown pitcher. So a 55 is going to be a blank off of Rogers' card. And on a 0, a 55 is going to be a line out, or If the D9 is a 6 or greater, it'll be a foul out. So it's a 2, so that's going to be a line out. And then we'll figure out where it goes to. That's a line drive to 6, which would be a line drive to the shortstop. So L6, that's going to be out number 1. And Bate McBride stands in. Tall, slender Bate McBride. 66. Another blank off the pitcher card. But Bate McBride is a 13, so he's on this card. 66 here is going to be a double as he laces one into left center field. And Bate McBride on at second base in front of Mike Schmidt. Schmidt all-world everything in 1980. 15, so read that as a 15, a 1-5 is a blank here. And off of Schmidt, a 15 is going to be a ground out. Now that goes to first base, and the play is going to be made. I'm just going to say 3-1 on the put out. And then the fielder or the base runner is going to move up because there was only one out. So he would move up on a grounder to first. And now we got a man at third with 2 outs and the bull, Greg Lazinski, to the plate. 14 is a blank. And Lazinski is a 9, so that puts him here. 14 is going to be a hit by pitch or a walk. As long as this is a 2 or greater, it's a walk. And he's going to take the walk there. So that puts runners at the corners for Dale Unser. Same card here. 26 is a blank, and here it's a ground out. That's right back to the pitcher. No problem for the pitcher as he flips it over to first, and that's going to be out number 3. So Philadelphia gets 2 on in the first, but they can't bring them around to score. We go to the bottom of the first inning. It is no score, and Larry Christensen comes out to face Jerry White, Rodney Scott, and Roland Office for Montreal. 25, so the pitcher is using this card as well. So both pitchers using the same card. These are, well, at least Christensen is a number 1. Or sorry, Steve Rogers is a number 1. Christensen is not a number 1 pitcher for the Phillies, but pitched very well. He had the third best FIP of all the starters. So pitched very well in 1980. 25 to a 6 batting runs is going to be a fly out. Now that has a plus sign. The plus sign means that there's an error check. So this is a fly ball. Remember we said 4 to 6 is to center field. So we're going to do an error check on the center fielder. That's Dale Unser. His defense rating is a +8, so he'll only make an error if this is a 1. It's a 4, and so he's going to make the catch in center field. Jerry White is out for out number 1. Brings up Rodney Scott, a 34. 34 to a -20 is going to be a base hit as he hits one up the middle, and Rodney Scott is aboard with a single. Now he's a 9, so 1 to 9 he's going to be safe. So I'm just going to say he can take off and steal that base. What you do normally is you roll against this number, but with a 9 he's going to be in there if he gets on base. Now if there's a guy in front of him, he's not going to be able to steal that base unless that guy steals the bag. So you can do a double steal, but you have to roll against the slowest base runner. So unless that guy is also a 9, that's not going to work. And then if he wants to steal third, you drop him down 1. So he goes from a 9 to an 8 to steal third. Brings up Roland Office. A 35 is going to be a blank here. And Office is a +4, so he's here. A 35 is going to be a ground out. That's right back to the pitcher. The pitcher's going to look back the runner to second base. We're going to go to first for the out, and that's going to be 2 down in the inning with a runner in scoring position for Andre the Hawk Dawson. 26 for the Hawk. He is a 26. So that's going to be a single with an error check. That's a base hit to left field. We check the error. Errors can only happen on a 1 or a 2, so you can be safe that that's not an error. But that is a base hit. With 2 outs, I always give the runner an extra base because they're going to be running on contact. So that's going to be an RBI single for Andre Dawson as he drives in the first run of the game. And Montreal takes a 1-0 lead. That brings up Gary Carter, the kid. He's got a 25, again a blank, and a 25 to a 17 batting runs is a flyout with an error check. So this is down the left field line, and there is no error on the play as the left fielder Luzinski makes a nice running catch near the line, and that's going to be the 3rd out of the inning. But Montreal at home takes a 1-0 lead. I think Philadelphia won this game 6-4 in real life. Top of the 2nd, it'll be Moreland, Trio, and Boa for the Phillies. 15 is a blank off the pitcher, and so we go to the batter card. A 15 here is going to be a base hit that's into right center field. And when I have a batter that hits it down the line, so a 1, a 3, a 4, a 6, a 7, or 9, if they have they can try to take an extra base if they want to, but you have to roll against the speed. So maybe doable with these guys who are 6, 7, 8, 9, but a guy who's a 3 is probably not going to take an extra base on a ball into the gap. So base hit for Moreland. Brings up Manny Trio. 34 to Manny Trio is going to be a single. This time it has an asterisk. I don't know if you can see that very well, but I think you can. There is an asterisk on the card, and what that means is this is a long single. Now what a long single does, you can see he hits it into left center field. A long single is going to give the base runner, all base runners, 1 extra base, so it's like it was hit into the gap. So he's going to get 1 extra base, so 1 for the single and then 1 to go to third. And then if the batter has a 6 or greater speed, he's going to turn that into a hustle double. So for Manny Trio, he's going to turn that single into a double, and now Philadelphia is in business with Larry Boa coming to the plate. 36 off of the pitcher card. There is a result here, so we're going to take that result, and you don't worry about going over to the batter card. That's going to be a walk. Oh, nothing to do there. That's going to load the bases for Larry Christensen. Now with Christensen, we're using the pitcher card, the pitcher batter card. So it's a little bit worse than this one if you just kind of go through and compare. A little bit worse, not a lot, but a little bit. So a 13 and a 13 to a pitcher. 13 to a pitcher is going to be a ground out. That's going to go to second base. The infield is playing back, so that's going to score this run from third on the fielder's choice. Whatever happens, there's nobody out. So he comes home on the fielder's choice, and we'll see if Christensen gets the RBI or not. So this guy's going to go to third, and this guy is going to be out automatically on the fielder's choice. So it'll be out number 1. So it's 4 to 6, and then now we need to roll against the pitcher's or the batter's speed rating. So if it's a 1, he'll be safe at first. If it's anything else, he'll be out. It's a 4, and that's going to be a 4-6-3 double play. There will be no RBI on the play with a double play, but Philadelphia ties the game on a double play ground out. 4-6-3 ground out from the pitcher Larry Christensen. Brings up Pete Rose. A 16 is always going to be a fly out with runner advancement, which I could talk to you about what that means later, but this will be a fly out to center field. And we head to the the bottom of the second inning, tied at 1, as Philadelphia brings home Moreland on the ground out from Larry Christensen. It'll be Cromartie, Parrish, and Spire for Philadelphia. For Montreal. So Christensen comes back out after driving in a run. He didn't get an RBI, but he did knock in a run by making contact. So a 23 is going to be a blank here, and a 23 off of an 8 batting runs is a ground out with an error check. So we're going to ground out to the pitcher, and it has to be a 1 or 2 to be an error, so there's no error on the plate. So we're going to go 1-3 on the put out, and that's going to be out number 1. Brings up Larry Parrish. 25 we already know is a blank, and a 25 to a 2 is going to be a fly out with an error check, so it's a fly ball to left field. The left fielder is Greg Luzinski. He's a minus fielder, so that means he makes an error on a 1 or a 2. It's a 5, so he's going to make that catch. That's out number 2. Brings out Chris Spire. Spire is a -6. A 66 is an opportunity for a single or a chance for a home run. So if the D9 is a 7 or greater, this is going to be a home run for Spire. It's a 6, and so that's going to be a base hit. As Spire gets on with 2 outs. And that brings up Steve Rogers, a 36. That's going to be a walk to the pitcher, and that's just going to make the manager tear his hair out. As Christensen walks the pitcher in front of Jerry White. White flew out in his first at-bat, but he's going to ground out here right back to the pitcher. And that's going to be, with 2 outs, he's just going to go to first base. And that is no problem on the put-out. So the Expos get 2 on, and they can't bring them home. It's 1-1 going to the top of the 3rd. Bate McBride, Mike Schmidt, and Greg Luzinski to the plate. Bate McBride doubled in his first at-bat. 66 to a 13 is going to be another double as he laces one over the left fielder's head. That one hops the wall, and Bate McBride 2 for 2 with 2 doubles. Big game for him. Brings up Mike Schmidt. This is a 22. A 22 is going to be a big hit. That's a double or a triple if the D9 is 8 or greater. It's a 3, so we got back-to-back doubles, and that's going to be an RBI double for Mike Schmidt as he drives in Bate McBride from second, and with nobody out, Phillies already got 1 in. 26 to Greg Luzinski is going to be a ground out, and can't have a ground out to 0, so that's going to be a ground out to 8. That is a grounder to shortstop. Remember, 7 and 8 on a ground out or to the shortstop. So shortstop grabs it, looks back the runner at second base, and he throws it to first. So that'll be the first out of the inning. As Luzinski hits it hard, but he hits it right in front of the runner, which doesn't advance the runner. Dale Unser up to the plate, a 55 to a -1. Is going to be a line out or foul out if the D9 is a 6 or greater. So it's a 1, and that's going to be a line drive to the catcher. Now you can't have a line drive to the catcher, right? So what that does, it's in the rules here. If the outcome is a line out to the catcher, then change the outcome to a pop out to the catcher. You score P2. So a little pop up to the catcher right in front of home plate. And that's going to be out number 2. Brings up Keith Moreland with a runner in scoring position. He has a single and a run scored already. He is a 3. The 66 is going to be a walk to Keith Moreland. Better than a single, but 2 on now for Manny Trio, who doubled in his last at-bat. 15 to a 3 batting runs is a base hit. That goes up the middle into right center field. That's going to push the runner to third. Remember, he gets an extra base with 2 outs, and it's going to score the runner from second as Mike Schmidt comes in to score. And that'll be Philadelphia's 3rd run of the game. They now lead 3-1 over the Expos. And Larry Boa stands in. Larry Boa -20 batting runs. He's going to ground out. This is to the second baseman. No problem at second base for Rodney Scott as he makes the throw to first. And Philadelphia puts up 2 more in the top of the third. They now lead 3-1 in this game. We head to the bottom of the third. It's going to be Rodney Scott, Roland Office, and Andre Dawson. A 56 from Christensen to Rodney Scott. He's a -20. 56 is a strikeout. We do have a provision in there to tell if it's a strikeout looking or swinging, if you care. Most people don't care, but 7, 8, or 9 is a strikeout looking. So, brings up Roland Office. He grounded out to the pitcher his first time up. 14 is going to be a blank off the pitcher, and Office is a 4. So 14 here is going to be a walk. You can see the D9 is a 2, so that's going to be a walk. And Office is at first. His stealing ability is only a 4, so it's not really very fast. We've got Andre Dawson coming to the plate at 55 is going to be a hit by pitcher or walk, and so he's going to take a walk. So back-to-back walks for Christensen. He's in a little bit of hot water with 1 out. Brings up Gary Carter. Carter, same fate. He is going to walk. So 3 walks in a row, as Christensen has walked the bases loaded. And that brings up Warren Cromartie. A 23. 23 is a blank. Cromartie is an 8. So a 23 is going to be a ground out with an error check. Who's that hit to? That's hit to the second baseman. There's no error on the play. So the second baseman is going to go to second base and get Carter on the fielder's choice. That'll be out number 2. And we'll roll against the speed of Warren Cromartie, which is only a 4. If it's a 5 or greater, he'll be out. 1 to 4, he'll be safe at first. It's a 4, and he just legs it out. That's going to mean an RBI for Cromartie. This player is going to go to third on the fielder's choice, and we'll go for 6. So Cromartie beats out the return throw on the double play. That scores Roland Office, and it's now 3-2 Philadelphia over Montreal. This looks like it's going to be another ground out. That goes to the second baseman again. No error on the play, and this time he's going to go to first, and that'll be out number 3. So Montreal gets 1 back in the bottom of the third. It's 3-2 Philly over Montreal. Philadelphia is going to send up Christensen, Rose, and McBride against Steve Rogers. 15 to a pitcher is going to be a ground out. That's a ground out to the first baseman. No problem at first as he tosses it underhand to the pitcher covering, and Rogers steps on the bag for out number 1. Brings up Pete Rose. Rose is 0 for 2. 25 will make him 0 for 3, I believe. It's going to be a fly ball with an error check, so that's a fly ball to center field, and that is going to be an error on the center fielder as he can't corral it, and that's going to be out number, boy, that was messed up. So E8. And at first is Pete Rose with Dave McBride coming to the plate. McBride, a couple of doubles on the day. Can he do it again? He did. Oh my gosh. As McBride laces one into the gap. That's a 2-bagger, and that's going to push Rose all the way to third base. We can try to score him. A 1 to 4, he'll score. That's a little less than 50%. With Mike Schmidt coming to the plate, I don't think so. But that's going to be a double, and we got runners at second and third with the man of the hour up. A 14 is going to be a long single for Mike Schmidt. That is a single to down the right field line. So Schmidt with a 6 speed is going to turn that into a hustle double. He's got 2 doubles on the day. That's going to drive in 2 runs. He's also driven in his 3rd run now. So McBride comes in, Pete Rose comes in on the double, and that's going to be an unearned run. for Steve Rogers, but it still counts the same. It's still 5-2. And 1 out in the inning. 2 RDM. Mike Schmidt already at second base, and Greg Luzinski to the plate. He's 0 for 1. A 46 to a 9 batting runs is a double play or a strikeout. So since there's no double play set up, we'll take the strikeout, and that will bring up Dale Unser. Unser a -1. 26 to a -1 is going to be a ground out. That goes to the third baseman. No problem at third, as it is Larry Parrish who makes a strong throw across the diamond, but Philly puts up 2 more in the top of the 4th, and Montreal just can't keep them off the board. It is 5-2 Philadelphia over Montreal. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning. It'll be Chris Spire, Steve Rogers, and Jerry White. 13 to Chris Spire is going to be a ground out. That goes to the shortstop. No problem at short for Larry Boa, who makes a good throw to first. And brings up Steve Rogers. Rogers is at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 batters. He can go 31 for his stamina. So he's looking good. And I'll show you what happens if, because I think we'll have to do it for Christensen or bring in another pitcher. So next up is Steve Rogers. We'll let him hit away. And a 16 is going to be a fly out. Remember, there's a fly out to left field. And that's going to bring up Jerry White. Jerry White, that'll be a walk off the pitcher card. 36 is a walk. And Jerry White is a 1-5 to steal second. That's not a great average for me. I usually like to make sure they're up in that 6 range, especially when they're a few runs down. So Rodney Scott to the plate. He's a -20. A 34 to a -20 is going to be a base hit up the middle, as Rodney Scott with a couple of singles in this game. With 2 outs, that's going to push the runner to third base. And so we got runners at the corners for Roland Office, who walked and scored in his last at-bat. 44 to a 4 is going to be a fly out, as he flies out to straightaway right field. No problem in right for Bate McBride as he makes the catch, and that's going to be out number 3. So Montreal gets a couple of runners on, but they can't bring them around, and they're still down 5-2 in this one. That'll bring up Keith Moreland, Manny Trio, and Larry Boa for the Phillies in the bottom or the top of the 5th. 55 to a 3 is going to be a line out or a foul out. That's going to be a line out, and that is a line drive to first base. So 1 out in the inning now. Manny Trio to the plate. Trio 2 for 2. He always seems to come up big every time I'm playing with the Phillies. He has a +3. A 55 to him is going to be the same, line out or a foul out. It's another line out, this time to short. And Philadelphia hitting it squarely, but right out the players. And that brings up Larry Boa. 56 to Boa is going to be a strikeout as he swings through a breaking pitch, and that's a 1-2-3 inning. First one for Steve Rogers in this game. And that halts the bleeding a little bit. It's 5-2. As Montreal finds themselves down by 3 runs. They got the heart of the order up, Dawson, Carter, and Cromartie, against Larry Christensen, who can go 22 batters before we have to manipulate his card for the stamina. So 18, 19, 20, 21. So he's going out there and starting the inning less than or right at his stamina. Then he can still pitch at the same one. If I want to send him out for the next inning, which I probably won't, I'll pinch hit for him. But if I wanted to, I could send him out for the next inning, and I would just need to use the next card down. So normally this is his starting card, but when he's fatigued, you move him 1 card down. So you see it's the next worst card. These are FIP, by the way. So it's like ERA, the lower the better. All right, Christensen will be facing off against Dawson. Dawson's 1 for 1. He's got a single and a walk. He also has an RBI. He's a 26, so 44 to a 26 is a walk. So he takes another walk. This time, the Hawk is a 7 on his speed, so he's going to be a 1 to 7. We're going to try to swipe second with him. The roll is a 4, and he's in there safely with the stolen base. Brings up Gary Carter, the kid, with a deep fly ball to left center field. That makes it all the way to the warning track. Tagging up at second is going to be Carter as he goes to third on the F7. Making the catch is Greg Luzinski on a fly out. A 16 is a fly out with the little arrow to the right. That means that all the runners advance 1 base. You could set that to be any runner with a 5 or greater speed, or 6 or greater speed, or whatever you want to do. It's up to you. I just make everybody go forward. But you're free to play this however you want. On-base baseball is created for you to take this very vanilla game and create any sorts of modifications or whatever you want to do with it. So I'll try to give you as many like base stats as you can have to play the game, but you can use any of these statistics to hook off different charts. You can create different charts or whatever you want. If you want to create a specific fielding chart so that it's a little bit more nuanced, feel free to do that, or base running charts or whatever you want to do. So 1 out, runner at third, and Warren Cromartie to the plate. Cromartie is an 8, so a 45 is going to be a base hit, and that's a long single. For Cromartie, he is a 4 on his speed, so he wraps a single down the right field line, and he's going to stay at first base, but he drives in Andre Dawson from third base, and that makes the game 5-3 as things tighten up just a little bit. So Cromartie at first with 1 out, and Larry Parrish to the plate. Now 12 is a ground out with the arrow, and so that means that is a fielder's choice where the only play is to first base. So all the runners move up. The only play is to first base. So he's going to move up on the fielder's choice, and it is a grounder to third base, so a little tapper down the third base line. The only play is to first, so the batter is out, but the base runner moves up to second base and gets himself into scoring position for Chris Spire. 56 to a -6 is a strikeout. But Montreal scores 1. It's now 5-3. We're going to get a pinch hitter for Larry Christensen, and the way you do that, you just get your card out and find out who you want to insert in. Let's go ahead and insert, who do we want to put in here? We don't really need it at this point, so let's just go with George Vukovich. How about that? So pinch hitter in the 6th. He'll come in. He is a -7, 2, and 5. Alright, so Vukovich is going to lead off. He is facing Steve Rogers, who's still out there going strong. 45 to a -7. 45 is going to be a long single as he hits one into the left center field gap. And his speed is only a 5, so he's going to pull up at first. and he'll be at first base with a pinch hit single. And Pete Rose coming to the plate. 25 for Pete Rose is going to be a fly out that goes to dead center field. There's no error on the plate. That'll be out number 1. No movement from the runner at first. And Bate McBride stands in. Can they finally get him out? He's got 3 doubles on the day, 2 runs scored, and a 35 to a 13 is going to be a strikeout as they finally get him looking on a strikeout. That'll be 2 outs in the inning with a runner at first base, and Mike Schmidt to the plate. Schmidt also 2 for 3. He's got a couple of doubles, 3 RBIs out of the 5 runs, and he has a 15. 15 is going to be a ground out as he smokes one to second base, but the play is made at second. So after a leadoff single, Rogers goes 1, 2, 3, and the Philadelphia Phillies strand 1 in the 6th. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 5 to 3. Larry Christensen is still on the mound. I think we're going to go ahead and put in a relief pitcher for him since we already pinch hit for him. And that relief pitcher, let's go with Dickie Knowles. How about that? So Knowles has an 8 stamina. 8 is his stamina, and 374 is his FIP. So because he's in this range here, we're going to need him. Usually whenever we start having to do this, we don't really need the pitcher batting card anymore. Mostly we're going to be pinch hitting for those guys at this point. So we got Knowles is coming off this card, and he's going to come in and pitch right here. We're going to get a pinch hitter for Steve Rogers. So the pinch hitter will be Ken Maka. How about that? So pinch hitting in the 6th for the pitcher. Maka is 2 minus 6, 3. And yeah, good to go. We'll have to have a new pitcher for the Expos as well. So leadoff hitter is Ken Maka. He's hitting for Steve Rogers, and that will be 13. 13 is going to be a ground out right back to the pitcher. And making the play to first is Dickie Knowles. He says this isn't so hard. And Jerry White stands in. White is 0 for 2. He walked in his last at bat. A 56 to a 6 is going to be a strikeout though, as he swings through a fastball, and he's going to miss it. So 2 quick ones in the bottom of the 6th, and it'll be Rodney Scott to the plate. He's a minus 20. 26 is going to be a ground out with an error check. So this is an error check on the pitcher. Pitcher, same rules. We just give him a 0. So he's going to make the throw to first. And the pitcher makes 2 plays in the inning. Not too common, but he does a good job there. And Knowles has a 1-2-3 inning as he gets us to the top of the 7th. It's 5 to 3, Philadelphia over Montreal. Coming into the game is going to be a new pitcher for Les Expos. New pitcher, let's see, let's go with Sosa. Elias Sosa can go 6 batters and a 2.85 FIP. So the pitchers, the relief pitchers are here in black, and the starters are here in red. Both the starters and the relievers, the first person is the one with the most total batters faced. So these are your pitchers from most used to least used, most used to least used. So you can kind of figure that out even if you don't know any of the players or anything like that. You can just say, okay, these first ones, like first 3 or 4 are going to be your main pitchers, right? So Sosa is starting off here. He'll face off against Greg Luzinski. Sosa's coming off this card because he has a sub-3 FIP. So no drop off there, as he'll face Luzinski. A 26 to a 9 is a ground out, and that is a little tapper in front of the plate, no problem. Behind the plate for the catcher, that's Gary Carter making a good play to first, and he'll get the outs. 1 down in the top of the 7th. A 23 to Dale Unser. That's a ground out with an error check, as that's right back to the pitcher, and there's no error on the play as he flips it over to first base for out number 2. Brings up Keith Moreland. A 33 comes off the pitcher card. A 33 is going to be a strikeout as Sosa blows it by him, and that's going to be out number 3. He's pumped. 1-2-3 inning for Elias Sosa in the top of the 7th. Philly still leads this one 5-3 as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. And we got 3 more innings to cover for Philadelphia, so let's leave Dickie Knowles out there and see if he can get through another one. He had a 1-2-3 inning at the top of this one. He's facing off against Roland Office, Andre Dawson, and Gary Carter, and could be in big trouble here. Let's see. Office is 0-for-2. He has a walk and a run scored. At this point, a 33. Dickie Knowles is off of this card, so a 33 is a blank, where if it was a better pitcher, it'd be a strikeout. So it's a blank, and Roland Office is a 4, and a 33 is going to be a flyout to straightaway center field. That's out number 1, as the catch is made by Dale Unser. We got a 22 to Andre Dawson, and that's going to be a big hit. That's going to be a double, as Dawson hits one that one hops the wall over the left fielder, Greg Luzinski, who can't get there in time. And Dawson is going to be in with another double. Actually, his first double of the game, but he hasn't been put out yet. He's 2-for-2. A couple hits, a couple walks, an RBI, and he is every bit the player that you expect. That's going to bring up Gary Carter. The kid is 0-for-2 and looking to make a dent in the scoreboard here. A 45, I don't know if that's going to do it. A 17. A 45 is going to be a long single, so that's into left center field. That's at least going to score the run, as Carter with an RBI single. It's going to drive home Andre Dawson, and that gets them within 1. It's now 5-4. And let's see, Warren Cromartie into the game. Cromartie is 1-for-3. A 23 to an 8 is going to be a ground out with an error check. Now that's a little nubber out in front of the plate. We're checking Keith Moreland, and he makes the error. Oh my goodness. E2. And the runner goes to second base on the error. E2 Brute. And that brings up Larry Parrish. Parrish is 0-for-3. A 45, that's going to be a long single into left center field, and look who's coming back. That's going to score the runner from second. That's going to push this runner to third, and so that will be an RBI single for Larry Parrish, and I think that's got to be it for Dickie Knowles, right? Knowles gives up the lead, and let's bring in Ron Reed. Get a replacement here, and Ron Reed comes into the game for Dickie Knowles. Knowles responsible for 2 runners on base. He's given up 2. It's 5-5 at home against Montreal. Philadelphia has given up the lead here in the 7th inning, and it'll be Chris Spire to the plate. Spire hitting with 1 out and 2 on. A 23 is going to be a blank here. So now we have both pitchers pitching off of this same card here. So 23 to a -6 is going to be a walk. Wow. That's going to load the bases. And let's see who we can bring in for the Expos. We need another pinch hitter. Let's go with, I don't know if he is available, but I'm going to bring in Ellis Valentine. Maybe he's just getting a day off. That's what we'll see. He is a 23 and 3 or 3 and 4. 20. So we got a bopper coming off the bench. He's on this next to highest card, and he's got a bases loaded situation. Let's go ahead and play the infield in. If we get a ground ball, a regular ground out, we're going to go to home, and then we'll test the double play to first. If it is a automatic double play like here, then that's going to go home to first, and it's going to get them out of the inning. So we're going to go home on a grounder. A 15. They do get a ground out. That's going to be a ground out off of his card. That's a ground ball to the shortstop. So we're going to go home and at least get that runner there. So that'll be out number 2. All these guys are going to move up on the fielder's choice. Now we got to roll against this 4 here. So 1 to 4, he'll be safe at first, and it'll just be bases loaded with 2 outs. 10 doesn't work. Oh, they get him as we go 6, 2, 3. Excuse me. 6, 2, 3 on the put out, and that gets them out of a serious jam. Bases loaded, 1 out, and Ron Reed comes in and throws a ground ball. They go home to first with the infield in. That's clutch. Keeps the game tied at 5. But it is 5 to 5. We go to the top of the 8th inning. We're going to need to get a new pitcher for the Phillies. For the Expos. And let's go with Fred Norman. He's their sort of number 1 option. So Fred Norman, 9 and a 3.95. So he can go 9 batters. 3.95 means we need to bring this back. Tight one here. Manny Trio, Larry Boa, and the pitcher spot for Philadelphia. 23 here is going to be a blank, and 23 to him will be a ground out with an error check. That ground ball goes to the second baseman, and there is no error on the play. So good throw by the second baseman, Rodney Scott, and that's 1 out in the inning. 56 to Larry Boa is going to be a strikeout. So Larry Boa, 2 strikeouts on the day. And let's get another pinch hitter for the Phillies. So pinch hitter this time, let's go with Lonnie Smith. So pinch hitter in the 8th. He'll come in, he's a 14 minus 5/8. Alright, so Lonnie Smith into the game. We'll have to get a new pitcher in for the Phillies. And facing Norman, an 11 is normally going to be a strikeout against a column 1 pitcher, but this is a column 2 pitcher. So against Lonnie Smith, who's a 14 batting runs, an 11 is going to be a walk. And Lonnie Smith with very good speed is going to take off for second. 1 to 8, he'll be safe. It's a 1, and he's in there safely with the stolen base. So Lonnie Smith gets himself in scoring position with 2 down, and Pete Rose coming to the plate. A 15 to Le Pete is going to be a base hit as Pete Rose clutch rips one into right center field, and that's going to be an RBI single for Mr. Rose as he brings in the go-ahead run here in the top of the 8th. 6-5 is our score, and Big McBride comes to the plate. A 16, that's going to be a deep drive out into left center field. He gets another bid for a double, but cutting it off is Jerry White near the track, and we're going to call that an F7. That'll be the 3rd out as Philly scores 1 in the 8th. They take a 6-5 lead over Montreal, and we're going to bring in a new pitcher for the bottom of the 8th inning for the Phillies. It'll be Tug McGraw now that they have the lead. Tug comes in, and he is a 6 and 2-3-6 as a SPIP. So he's going to be off here, and probably bring in, well, I don't know if we'll need to bring in a new pitcher or not. All right, so Tug McGraw into the game. He's entering here in the 8th inning. A 33 is going to be a strikeout for Tug as he gets the K. Not a huge strikeout guy, McGraw. Brings Rodney Scott to the plate. Scott is 2 for 4. Nice night for him. He's on this sort of worst card you can be on, but even a blind squirrel finds an acorn, right? So 15, though, is going to be a ground out as he taps this one back to the pitcher, McGraw, with a good throw as he's up with it over to first for out number 2. And that'll bring up Roland Office, who's 0 for the day. He's going to crank one as he gets good wood on this down the left field line. And heading back into the back corner is going to be Greg Luzinski, who makes a fine catch in left field in the corner. And that's going to be a 1-2-3 inning for Tug McGraw as he completely shuts down the Expos offense. And we head to the top of the 9th inning. Expos trying to hang in there. They're down 6-5, trying to get it to the 9th inning with a chance. And it will be Mike Schmidt, Greg Luzinski, and Dale Unser for Philadelphia. This is going to be Schmidt. He cranks one down the left field line, hits it to the exact same place that Roland Office did, and the same thing happens as right up against the wall. The catch is made in left field by Jerry White, and that's going to be out number 1. Greg Luzinski to the plate. A 25 is that's going to be a fly out with an error check. So fly ball to left field, no error on the plate as White makes the play again. And we have 2 down in the top of the 9th inning. 6-5 is our score. Philadelphia ahead, and Dale Unser to the plate. Unser is 0 for the day as well. A 15 for a -1 is going to be a base hit, so he laces one past the second baseman into right center field, and he'll be on with a 2-out single. Brings up Keith Moreland to the plate, a 46. 46 to a 3 is a double play or a strikeout. With 2 outs, we don't need the double play, so it's just going to be a strikeout to end the game, or to end their half of the 9th. As admirable job from Fred Norman as he comes in and holds. Well, he did give up the 1 run, I guess, so he didn't hold him. But we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. It's 6-5. Fred Norman is actually on the hook for the loss, I guess. And Tug McGraw trying to pick up a 2-inning save. He'll face off against Andre Dawson, Gary Carter, and Warren Cromartie. 56 to the Hawk is going to be a hit by pitch or a walk. It's a 1. It's a walk if it's a 2 or greater. So the Hawk takes one in the hip, and that breaking ball Came in a little too hot, a little too far inside, and the hawk is on again. They haven't been able to keep him off the bases. He's going to go ahead and steal second base. He's a 1-7. He's in there with a 5. So he puts himself in scoring position, and Gary Carter to the plate. A 22, that's going to be ripped over the head of the left fielder. Luzinski can't get there. He throws his glove up, but he can't get any leather on it. And that's going to be an RBI double. And that will tie our ball game as Dawson comes in to score. Warren Cromartie is the next batter with an opportunity to win this one. We're tied at 6, bottom of the 9th inning. A 26 to Cromartie, who is in 8 batting runs. That's going to be a ground out to the third baseman. The play is in front of Gary Carter at second base, so he's going to hold to throw across the diamond. That's going to be out number 1. Larry Parrish coming to the plate. This will be a ground ball. Parrish is a 2 batting runs. So 23, that's a grounder to shortstop. Let's see if there's an error. No error on the play. Again, the play is going to be in front of the base runner. So they're going to take the out at first base. And we have a 2 down. Runner at second base. Chris Spire coming to the plate. What do we got here? What do we got? Spire is a 6. Jerry White's in the game. Used up Maka. Let's go and bring in Ron LaFleur. Not sure if he is available. Ron LaFleur is going to come in and pinch hit. He is a 0, -10, and 9. Now what this does is it goes from this card to this card. So marginally better hitter. Runner at second base. Ron LaFleur to the plate. Base hit wins the game. Tug McGraw on the mound. 35 to Ron LaFleur is going to be a ground out. Oh, so close to a single. But that's going to be a little tapper in front of the plate. And the ball is thrown to first. Montreal gets 1, and we're headed to extra innings. Fred Norman can go 9 batters. He's gone 3, 6, 7, 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he's starting. He can still start where he was. So he'll go out for 1 more inning. He's facing off against Manny Trio, Larry Boa, and the pitcher spot. So 23 to a 3 is a ground out. That's going to be a grounder to the catcher. No error on the catcher. So he makes a good throw to first. And that'll be out number 1. Brings up Larry Boa to the plate. Boa 0 for 3 with a couple of Ks. A 14 to a -20 is going to be a hit by pitcher, a walk. So Larry Boa takes the walk. And he is at first. He's a 6 speed. He's going to try to steal and get himself in scoring position. 1 to 6, he'll be safe. It's a 1, and he's in there safely. And that will be 1 out with a runner at second base. And let's get a new hitter. New pinch hitter. Greg Gross. Gross is a -2. That's really what we're concerned about. So Greg Gross to the plate against Fred Norman. He's a -2. Fred Norman is pitching off this card, so an 11 is a blank. A -2 is here. Oh, if you could believe it. He goes bomb Zola as he cranks one into left center field. I'm sorry, into right center field. As he gets a hold of that one, that's going to be a 2-run homer in the 10th inning. And he is on air as he floats around the bases. Norman gives up the home run, and it'll be Pete Rose. It's now 7-5, Philly over Montreal. Pete Rose with a 66, and a 66 is going to be a walk. End of the line there, as we're going to get a new pitcher. That will be Steve Bonson. Bonson, 378 and a 7. So Bonson comes into the game again off of this card still. Big McBride to the plate. He's got 1 on and 1 out. 2 already in for Philadelphia. A 35 to Big McBride is going to be a strikeout. So Bonson comes in and gets the K. That's out number 2. So we got 2 down. Mike Schmidt coming to the plate. Schmidt 2 for 5. Sorry. 44 is going to be a base hit. That goes into right center field. That'll push the runner all the way to third base. And that'll be a base knock. Another hit for Mike Schmidt. That's his 3rd of the day. And runners at the corners now. In the top of the 10th inning, it's 7-5 Philly. And a 35 to Greg Lazinski is going to be a ground out. This one to second base. No problem there. And that'll be out number 3. So that ends the inning. But 2 runs come in for Philadelphia. And it's now 7-5. Tugger's got 3, 6, 8, 9 batters. And he can go, so what is he? He's got 6. So he's going to have to come, we're going to give him 1 more inning. He's got to come off of this card here. So I just totally screwed everything up there. Alright, so he's going to come off this card here, and he's going to try to seal the deal here. He'll face off against the pitcher spot. So a new batter here called Brad Mills. Mills is pinch hitting in the 10th. -1, 0, and a 1. And Montreal digging deep in this one. They got Brad Mills coming to the plate against Tug McGraw. A 15 to a -1 is going to be a base hit, and it's a little bit of a slugfest as get another base hit and a runner at first. We've already burned Ron LaFleur. He's got speed. Let's put Tony, is it Bernazard? As a pinch runner. So he comes in here. Pinch runner in the 10th is Bernazard. He is a 6 for his speed. You know we got to try to steal here and get him into scoring position. With nobody out, he's in there with a steal. They need 2 runs to tie, and it's Jerry White to the plate with a runner in scoring position. That should be a single. Stolen base here. Runner in scoring position. Nobody out. And a 46. 46 to here is a blank. And a 46 to who am I looking at? Jerry White. 46 is a double play or a strikeout. Good thing that they stole that base, because that would have been a double play. As it is, it's just 1 out. So runner at second base for Rodney Scott. 45 to Scott, who's a -20. Do you believe it? He hits into a hustle double. A 45 is a long single. He's going to drive in the run from second. as he comes around on the double, and that drives in the run, and he is now in scoring position for Roland Office. Can Office walk it off? 14 to a 4 is going to be a hit by pitch. So second Expo hit by a pitch. We got 2 on now for the Hawk. Andre Dawson, they have yet to get him out. A 36 to a 26. 36 is going to be a fly out. That goes to left center field. And that'll be the second out of the inning. And they got one more chance here. Gary Carter, a 26 to a 17. Oh, it's a single with an error check, and it won't matter. The single walks it off. Actually, ties it up, doesn't it? It doesn't walk it off. It ties it up, so we do need to check. It's a single to left, and there is an error on the play. So everything going wrong. So it goes to third on the single, and with an error, that's going to be a walk-off win. So he goes to third on the single, and he comes home on the E7. So Greg Luzinski commits an error in left field, allows the runner to go one extra base more than what he would, and that ends your ball game. So single to left field for Gary Carter. He is going to get the, he's not going to get an RBI because that's an error. But Montreal scores 3 in the 10th. They win this one by a score of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 2, 3, 5, 7, 8. 9 to 8. That's pretty crazy. So that's a wild one in Montreal. The actual score again was like 6 to 4, I think. Philly won. So that's how you would take these cards, just like this, and these cards you get every team. You can see all 26 teams in the major leagues in 1980, and you're going to get all of these different types of pitchers, whether they're good, bad, indifferent, and then you get all the batter cards as well, and then it all comes in this handy dandy package here, and then you just take and you transfer the statistics from here to your score sheet, and then you're ready to rock and roll. You just need a couple of D6, and you can play with a D10 if you happen to have a D9. That's what the game calls for, but most people don't have a D9. I don't have a D9, and so if you don't have that, you can use the D10, and on a 10 you can either make up something to do like rare place, or you can simply roll again, which is what I do, to keep everything on a 1 to 9 scale. So this is everything that comes with this set, and you can put it in there like that. You wrap it up like a little baby, hook that in there, and you're good to go. So that is On Base Baseball, the 1980 season set. I'll go ahead, and I'm losing some battery here, I think. So I will go ahead and wrap this up. If you